Cardiac cycle. Cardiac cycle is the complete sequence of events in one heartbeat, 0.8 seconds. Number 2. Systole is the period of contraction of the heart muscle. Number 3. Diastole is the period of relaxation of the heart muscles. Number 4. There are three main stages. A. Atrial systole for 0.1 second. B. Ventricular systole for 0.3 second. C. Atrial ventricular diastole 0.4 second. Number 5. Before atrial systole, during the late atrial ventricular diastole, the heart four chambers are filled with 70% blood. During atrial systole, A. Simultaneous contraction of both atria upon excitation of sinoatrial nodes. B. Volume in atria decreases while pressure increases. C. Atrial ventricular valve opens and blood is forced into the ventricles. Ventricular systole. A. Simultaneous contraction of both ventricles upon excitation of atrial ventricular node. B. Impulse transmitted along bundle of His and Purkinje fibers causes rapid contraction of both ventricles from the apex up. C. Volume in the ventricles decreases while pressure increases. D. Blood pushes against the AV valve and the first heart sound, loud, is produced. During atrial ventricular diastole, A. Both atria and ventricles are relaxed. B. Volume in both atria and ventricles increases while pressure decreases. C. Higher pressure in pulmonary artery and aorta than the ventricles pushes against the semilunar valves and second heart sound dub is produced. D. Blood keep on filling the ventricles until about 70% of the heart total volume. Number 9. Then cardiac cycles begins again. Regulation of heartbeat. Number 1. The heartbeat can be regulated intrinsically or extrinsically. Number 2. In intrinsic control, A. Impulse is sent to sinoatrial node or pacemaker and causes both atria to contract simultaneously. It delays for 0.1 second. B. Impulse is then transmitted to atrial ventricular node along bundle of His and Purkinje fibers and causes both ventricles to contract simultaneously from the apex up. Number 3. In extrinsic control, A. Heartbeat rate is controlled by autonomic nervous system, sympathetic or parasympathetic. B. Rate is increased by cardiac accelerator center in the medulla upon receiving impulse from the stretch receptor at the vena cava through sympathetic nerve to stimulate sinoatrial node. C. Rate is also increased by hormonal regulation of noradrenaline, adrenaline, and thyroxine to stimulate sinoatrial node. D. Rate is decreased by cardiac inhibitory center in the medulla upon receiving impulse from the stretch receptor at the aortic and carotid bodies through parasympathetic nerve to sinoatrial node.